My daughter said she needed money for my grandson. Then I saw her on vacation with my savings when my daughter called crying. I answered on the second ring. Mothers always do. Even after years of disappointment, even after promises broken and birthdays forgotten, something in us still rises at the sound of our child in pain. Instinct does not age as quickly as wisdom. "Mom," she said between sobs, "I don't know what to do." Her name is Melissa. She is 46 years old, beautiful in the polished, expensive way some women manage even while drowning. Hair always colored perfectly, nails always done, voice always trembling at the exact right moment. "What happened?" I asked. "It's Tyler, my grandson." At once I stood from the kitchen table so quickly my chair scraped the floor. "Is he hurt?" "No, no," she inhaled sharply. "It's school. They're threatening to remove him from the program if I don't pay the tuition balance this week." I pressed a hand to my chest. Tyler was 14 then. Quiet, clever, good with numbers, awkward with people. He attended a private science academy on scholarship, a place he adored because machines made more sense to him than most humans did. "How much?" I asked. There was a pause just long enough to sound ashamed. 8,000. $8,000. For some families that is impossible money. For me, it was painful money. I am 70 years old, widowed, careful. My husband Arthur died 5 years earlier after a long illness that taught me the price of everything hospitals never mention. I lived modestly in the home we bought in 1984, and I stretched savings the way women of my generation were trained to do. Quietly, skillfully, without applause. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" I asked. "I was trying to fix it myself." That should have warned me. Melissa never tried to fix anything herself unless there were witnesses. "When is it due?" "Friday." It was Tuesday. "I'll think about it." She began crying harder. "Mom, please. If he loses this chance, he'll never forgive me." Children become tools in the hands of desperate parents more often than people admit. I said I'll think about it. When I hung up, I sat in silence long enough for the kettle to whistle dry on the stove. I turned it off and stared at the wall. Arthur used to say our daughter was born reaching. As a girl, Melissa always wanted the toy another child held, not the one already in her hand. As a teenager, she borrowed clothes and returned excuses. As a woman, she moved from man to man and plan to plan, each new life beginning with promises and ending with unpaid balances. Yet she loved Tyler. Of that I had no doubt. Love, however, does not always outrank appetite. I called the school the next morning. A receptionist transferred me twice before I reached bursar services. "Can you confirm an overdue tuition balance for Tyler Bennett?" I asked. There was typing, then a pause. "I'm sorry, ma'am. We cannot discuss student accounts without authorization. Can you at least tell me if there is an urgent deadline this week?" Another pause. "There is no pending removal notice attached to that account." My fingers tightened around the phone. "No urgent balance. I'm not able to discuss specifics." That was enough. There was no urgent balance. When I hung up, I did not feel shocked, only tired. Fraud from strangers offends, fraud from family exhausts. I called Melissa immediately. She answered cheerfully on the first ring. That told me everything. "I spoke to the school." Silence, then a small laugh. "Oh. Well, maybe they didn't see the internal notes. Try again." Her voice changed. "Mom, why would you embarrass me like that? By verifying, you don't trust me." "Correct," she sighed dramatically. "It's more complicated than tuition." "Then say the truth plainly." "I'm behind on rent." "There it is. You know Tyler can't thrive if we're evicted. So now rent is tuition wearing a costume." "You're being cruel." "No. I'm being specific." She began crying again, but now it sounded irritated. "I only asked because you're the only one who can help." "No," I said. "I'm the only one who still answers." I hung up before instinct could weaken me. That should have ended it. It did not. 2 nights later, Tyler called me himself. That had never happened without Melissa nearby. "Hi, Nana." His voice was soft, uncertain. "Hello, sweetheart." Moments passed in nervous breathing. Then he said, "Mom's really stressed." "I imagine she is." She said if we have to move, I might need to switch schools. There it was, the relay. When adults cannot manipulate directly, they send innocents carrying the message. Tyler, I said gently, did your mother ask you to call me? A pause. Yes, honesty. Always my favorite thing about him. Did she tell you what to say? Sort of. Thank you for telling me the truth. He sounded relieved enough to exhale. I don't like lying. I know, another pause. Are we really getting evicted? I don't know. But none of this is your job, he whispered. Okay. Do you need anything for school? No. Do you need groceries? Another pause. Yes, that one hurt. I drove there the next morning with 2 bags of food and a gift card hidden in my purse. Melissa lived in a luxury apartment she could not afford. Marble lobby. Scented candles in common areas. Concierge who judged everyone equally. When she opened the door, she was wearing silk pajamas at 11:30 in the morning. Mom! Her smile was too bright. You came. I brought groceries. She stepped aside with visible disappointment. Inside, the apartment was beautiful and chaotic, designer handbags on chairs, packages unopened by the wall. A giant television, fresh flowers, no evidence of poverty except discipline. Tyler sat at the dining table doing homework with headphones around his neck. He stood when he saw me. He was taller than last month. Teenagers grow while you are looking elsewhere. I hugged him and felt bones, warmth, and embarrassment. Melissa crossed her arms. You could have just transferred money. I preferred vegetables. That's insulting. No, I said, glancing at the 3 subscription beauty boxes by the counter. This is educational, she glared. Tyler hid a smile. I unpacked milk, eggs, pasta, fruit, chicken, rice, bread. Real rescue is usually boring. Then I slipped Tyler the gift card while Melissa was in the kitchen. For lunches, I whispered. He nodded gratefully. Melissa returned carrying coffee in mugs expensive enough to pay a utility bill. We need to talk privately. We can talk here, she looked toward Tyler. He doesn't need stress. He lives in it. Tyler stared hard at his worksheet. Melissa lowered her voice. I'm only short 5,000 now. Now, I moved some things around. Which things? She ignored that. If you help me stabilize, I can repay you in 2 months. With what income? I have opportunities. Melissa had more opportunities than results. No, her eyes widened theatrically. You'd let your grandson suffer to punish me. I'd help your grandson directly. I will not finance confusion. That's unbelievable. No, I said calmly. It is overdue. I stood to leave. Tyler walked me to the door. Nana, yes. He glanced back to be sure Melissa was out of earshot. She's going somewhere next week. Where? She said not to tell anyone. I looked at him carefully. Why tell me? Because I think it's bad. Then he handed me something folded from his pocket, a printed itinerary, 2 names, Melissa Bennett, Jordan Vale, destination, St. Lucia. Departure next Thursday. The same week she said they might be evicted. I looked up slowly. Who is Jordan? Tyler shrugged. Different guy than last month. I folded the paper and placed it in my purse. Then I kissed his forehead. Thank you for trusting me. As I rode the elevator down, one thought repeated itself with perfect clarity. My daughter was asking for rescue money while planning a tropical vacation. And she had no idea I was finished being fooled. I did not sleep much that night. Anger has changed with age. When I was younger, it arrived hot and loud. Doors, tears, speeches, regret. Now it comes cold and organized. It sharpens memory, steadies hands, and asks practical questions. How long had she been planning the trip? How much had she already spent? How many times had Tyler watched lies being assembled around him like furniture? By 6 in the morning, I was dressed, fed, and making lists. Arthur used to say I was most dangerous when quiet. He was right. I called Melissa at 9. She answered breathless. Mom, I was just about to call you. Were you? Yes. I've been up all morning figuring things out. I'm sure you have. I could hear drawers opening, things moving, the rustle of someone packing. Listen, she said, voice softening into vulnerability. If you can help me one time, I swear this is the last time. How much exactly? She paused, sensing progress. 5,000, cash, transfer is easier. I'm old-fashioned, she laughed too brightly. Cash is fine. Come by at noon. The excitement in her silence was almost childish. Really? Yes. Oh my God, Mom, thank you. You have no idea what this means. I did. It meant sunscreen. I'll be there, she said. When I hung up, I called my bank. Then my attorney. Then one more person. At 11:55, Melissa arrived wearing sunglasses worth several grocery trips and carrying gratitude like a costume bag. She entered before I fully opened the door. I knew you'd come through. I said I'd consider helping. You said noon. I see punctuality survives when money is involved. She removed her sunglasses and kissed my cheek lightly. The gesture felt rehearsed. You look good, she said, scanning the house the way she always did, measuring what could someday be hers. My home is modest but well kept. Hardwood floors. Arthur refinished himself. Blue curtains I sewed after retirement. A grandfather clock inherited from my father. Nothing flashy, everything paid for. Melissa never respected paid for. She preferred impressive. Sit, I said. She perched on the sofa, crossing long polished legs. Coffee? No, thank you, I'm trying to avoid jitters. Travelers often do. I sat opposite her with a folder on my lap. What's that? She asked. Before money changes hands, I need clarity. Her smile faltered. Mom, seriously? Very. I opened the folder. Inside were printed statements from the past 4 years. Every transfer I had ever made to Melissa. Rent emergencies, car repairs, school uniforms, dental crises, business launch loans. Temporary bridge help, deposit assistance, unexpected tax issue, medication money, holiday shortfall. I had labeled each one with date and amount. She stared. What is this? History. Why would you keep that? Because memory improves when written. I slid the pages toward her. Total assistance over 4 years, $47,300. She looked offended. You're acting like I robbed you. No, I said calmly. I'm acting like an accountant. That's disgusting. Numbers often feel personal when they're accurate. She pushed the pages aside. I never asked for judgment. You asked for 5,000, which I need. For rent, yes. For Tyler, yes. For survival, yes. I reached into the folder and removed the itinerary Tyler gave me. Then placed it gently on the table between us. The room changed instantly. Melissa's face drained, then reset. Where did you get that? Interesting, not what is that? She snatched it up. You went through my things? No. Then Tyler betrayed me. No, I said. Tyler protected himself. Her jaw tightened. It's refundable. Wonderful. It's work-related. 2 cent. Lucia, it's networking. With Jordan Vale. She crossed her arms. You don't know anything about my life. I know enough to keep my wallet closed. She stood abruptly. You had no right involving Tyler. I involved groceries. You involved Tyler. That trip was a chance to secure investors. In a swimsuit, she glared so hard I nearly admired the energy. You always hated when I wanted more. No, I said quietly. I hated when you wanted more than truth could afford. She grabbed her purse. You know what your problem is. You never wanted me to live better than you. That old accusation. Children often mistake limits for envy. My problem, I said, is that I raised someone who thinks consequences are abuse. She laughed once harshly. Keep your money. I intend to. She stormed to the door, then turned back. When Tyler hates you for this, remember today? I stood slowly. When Tyler hates anyone, it will be the person who used him. She slammed the door so hard the hallway mirror rattled. I straightened it. Then I cried. Not because of the money, because of the boy. By evening, Tyler texted me from a number I did not recognize. I'm sorry, I replied immediately. You have nothing to apologize for. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Returned. She's mad. I know. She says you ruined everything. No, I exposed timing. Long pause. Can I come by tomorrow after school? Yes, always yes to children asking for safety. He arrived the next afternoon carrying a backpack and the look of someone trying not to become a burden. I made grilled cheese and tomato soup. Teenagers heal faster when fed. We ate at the kitchen table where Melissa once colored unicorns and demanded extra marshmallows. How bad is it? I asked gently. He stared at his sandwich. She threw a candle. At you. No, at the wall, I breathed carefully. Does she do that often? When she's stressed? Does she ever hit you? He looked up sharply. No, I believed him, though not entirely. Does she leave you alone a lot? Sometimes. Enough to worry, he shrugged. That shrug said yes in adolescent language. After lunch, he did homework while I folded towels nearby. Quiet company is sometimes the greatest mercy. At 5, Melissa called him 17 times. He silenced everyone. At 6, she arrived pounding the front door. Tyler, open this door now. I opened it myself. He is safe, I said. You kidnapped my son. I fed my grandson. You are poisoning him against me. No, hunger and chaos did that. She tried to push past me. I stepped fully into the doorway. You will not enter this house screaming. He's coming home. I looked back. Tyler, do you want to leave right now? Silence from the hallway. Then, no. Melissa's eyes widened in disbelief. You don't get to choose. He's 14, I said. He gets to speak. She began crying instantly, loudly enough for neighbors. You're turning my own child against me. I lowered my voice. If you continue shouting, I will call the police and request a welfare intervention. That startled her. You wouldn't dare. Try me. She stared at me, calculating. Then at the neighboring curtains shifting slightly. Audience detected. She straightened her blouse, lowered her voice, and transformed into wounded motherhood. Tyler, she called sweetly, baby, come home, we'll talk calmly. No answer. She looked at me with naked hatred. This isn't over. It rarely is with you. She walked away in furious dignity. I closed the door and locked it. Tyler stood in the hallway pale and shaking. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing for other people. He nodded once. Then ask the question children ask when they already know the answer. Can I stay here tonight? I looked at my grandson. The boy used as leverage. The boy carrying adult secrets. The boy apologizing for storms he did not create. Yes, I said. And in that moment, though I did not know it yet, everything truly began. Tyler stayed one night, then 3, then a week. It happened the way many family fractures happen, not with a dramatic decision, but with accumulated relief. He slept late the first Saturday and apologized when he woke at 10:30. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to waste the day. Sleeping is not waste, I said. Exhaustion is expensive. He blinked at me as if no one had framed rest that way before. Teenagers reveal stress in indirect places. They do not always cry. They oversleep, forget homework, eat too fast, flinch at phone sounds, apologize for existing. Tyler did all 4. I bought an extra toothbrush, then socks, then cereal he liked. Soon his backpack leaned naturally against the mudroom bench beside my umbrella stand. Melissa called daily, sometimes pleading. Sometimes raging, sometimes performing tenderness for voicemail. Baby, I miss you. Tyler, Nana is confused. Sweetheart, I'm worried she's manipulating you. Tyler, answer me right now. He listened to none of them. One evening he said quietly, she only says sweetheart when people are around. I looked at him over my reading glasses. That sentence took years to earn. He gave a sad little smile. Monday morning, I drove him to school. The academy sat behind iron gates and trimmed hedges, the sort of place wealthy people call humble because stone buildings embarrass them less than glass ones. As he gathered his bag, he hesitated. If Mom comes here, she won't take you by surprise. How do you know? Because I called ahead. He stared. You called the school? Yes. What did you say? That a child under stress may need routine protected from adult nonsense. He laughed for the first time since arriving. Good sound, underused. At noon my phone rang. Melissa, I let it go to voicemail, then another call, then another. By the 4th I answered. What? You contacted Tyler's school? Yes, you humiliated me. I informed them. You told them I'm unstable. No, I said. I allowed them to infer. She inhaled sharply. You have no legal right to interfere. I have every moral right to protect a child. He is my son. Then behave like it. She shouted something unintelligible and hung up. At 4:30, she arrived in my driveway with a man in a white polo shirt and expensive sunglasses. Jordan Vale, presumably. Vacation networking. He remained in the passenger seat while she stormed to my porch. I opened the door before she could pound. You need to stop this insane campaign. You brought backup. He's here to support me. From the car, she ignored that. I'm taking Tyler. Tyler, I called calmly, your mother is here. Would you like to speak outside or remain inside? He appeared halfway down the hall. Inside, Melissa's face changed. Tyler, don't be ridiculous. He did not move. Jordan finally stepped out of the car, glanced around, and approached with the cautious gait of a man sensing missing information. Hey, he said to me, smiling too broadly. I think this is just a misunderstanding. Excellent, I replied. Then misunderstand it elsewhere. Melissa hissed. Jordan, wait in the car. Interesting. Secrets dislike witnesses. He retreated immediately. I looked at my daughter. You lied to him too, she went pale. About what? Why your son is staying here. She stepped closer. You are trying to ruin my relationship. No, I said. Patterns are. Tyler spoke from behind me. Mom, did you tell him about the candle? Silence. Jordan looked up sharply. The what? Melissa spun around. Go inside, Tyler. He stayed where he was. Did you tell him you said Nana stole me? Jordan removed his sunglasses slowly. Melissa, she laughed nervously. This is absurd. I almost pitied the man. Almost, he looked at me. Ma'am, is everything okay here? No, I said. But it is becoming clearer. He studied Melissa's face, then the packed tension of the porch, then Tyler standing stiff in the hallway. Smart enough, finally. I'm gonna go, he said. Jordan, don't be dramatic. He walked to the car. I'm not dramatic, he replied. I'm leaving. He drove off without another word. Melissa stared after him, then turned on me with trembling fury. Are you happy? No. Liar, no, I said quietly. I'm tired. She burst into tears, real ones this time. He was going to help us. With Tyler's tuition, she said nothing. With rent, nothing. With St. Lucia, she covered her face. I understood then. Jordan had not been an investor, he had been another ladder, and ladders resent being named. She sank onto the porch step, crying hard enough to lose all glamour. For a moment, she looked like the little girl who once scraped both knees and ran to me bleeding. Motherhood is cruel that way. It overlays every adult failure with older images. I sat on the porch railing. When did you last pay rent? She wiped her face. 2 months. Utilities? Some. School? She shook her head. How much credit card debt? Too much. Specific. She whispered a number that made even me blink. What did you buy? I don't know. That answer is commoner than honesty. Inside, Tyler stood frozen, listening to his life translated into totals. I turned to him. Go finish homework. He hesitated. Please. He nodded and disappeared. Melissa looked ashamed for the first time I could remember. I didn't mean for him to know. He already knew. Children live inside what adults deny. She cried quietly. What do I do, finally? The useful question. You tell the truth. To who? Everyone. She shook her head immediately. I can't. Then nothing changes. She stood abruptly. You think everything is simple because you a dad. I rose too. Do not rewrite my marriage into rescue. Your father and I worked for 50 years. You had stability. We built it. You had luck. We chose repeatedly. That struck her. People who chase shortcuts hate hearing about repetition. She grabbed her purse. I need time. You need accountability. She left without saying goodbye to Tyler. That night Tyler ate quietly, showered, then stood in the kitchen doorway holding a towel. Am I staying here forever? Children ask forever when they mean next week. No, I said gently, but you're staying until safe feels normal again. He nodded. Then asked, is Mom a bad person? Questions like that should come with warning bells. No, I said after a moment. She is a person making bad choices for too long. He considered it. Can people stop? Yes, do they? Sometimes. He went to bed. I stayed up balancing my checkbook and thinking of Melissa on the porch step. Then my phone buzzed at 11:48 p.m. unknown number. I answered. A male voice said, Mrs. Bennett. This is Officer Ramos. Your daughter has been detained after an incident at a downtown hotel. She asked us to call you. I closed my eyes. Of course she did. The downtown hotel was called the Marlowe, which sounded elegant enough to charge too much for water. I arrived at 12:30 in the morning wearing a coat over pajamas and the expression of a woman who had aged 3 years in 3 hours. Officer Ramos met me in the lobby. Young face, tired eyes. Respectful tone sharpened by experience. Mrs. Bennett, yes, thank you for coming. What did she do? He hesitated. That depends whether you'd prefer the short version or the honest one. Always the honest one. He nodded. She attempted to leave without paying for a room, bar charges, and spa services. When confronted, she claimed her card was compromised. Then she said a business partner was paying. Then she said her mother was arriving with cash. Of course she did. Was she arrested? Detained? We were hoping family could resolve it. Family, society's favorite unpaid service. Where is she? In a side office. He lowered his voice. She's been drinking. That surprised me less than it should have. He led me through a corridor lined with framed black and white photographs of people wealthier than wisdom. Melissa sat in a leather chair with mascara streaked beneath one eye and one heel missing. She looked up. Mom! No tears this time, only exhaustion. Stand up, I said. She blinked. What? Stand up. If I'm rescuing an adult at midnight, she can at least be vertical. She stood. The hotel manager entered carrying a folder and hostility. Total owed, $2,463, room upgrades. Champagne, room service, spa treatments, minibar. I stared at the page. Were you trying to be arrested comfortably? Melissa covered her face. I thought Jordan would pay. He left. I know. I turned to the manager. If I settle this tonight. Is the matter closed? If payment clears and damages are not pursued. Damages? She broke a decorative vase. Of course she did. I paid by card while hating every second of it. Not the money, the lesson it might teach. Outside, the night air was sharp enough to wake saints. Melissa shivered beside me. My car got towed. Naturally. Get in. The drive home was silent for 10 minutes. Then she whispered, Thank you. You are welcome for preventing jail, not for the behavior. She stared out the window. I'm sorry. For what specifically? She closed her eyes. I don't know. Then it is too early for apologies. We reached my house, porch light glowing, curtains drawn. Stability visible from the street. I parked. You are not staying here, I said. Her head snapped toward me. What? Tyler is asleep inside. He has had enough chaos this week. Where am I supposed to go? That was a question for yesterday. She began crying. I have nowhere. You had a hotel. That's not funny. It wasn't intended to be. I handed her $200. There is a clean motel on Route 7. One night, she stared at the bills like insult itself. You'd put me in a motel. I'd put boundaries around my grandson. Mom, please. No, I waited. Eventually, she took the money and slammed the door on the way out. At 1:30 in the morning, she stood in my driveway with suitcase, missing heel, and consequences. I slept badly. At 7, Tyler found me making toast. Was that mom outside last night? Children hear more than walls admit. Yes. Is she okay? She is alive. He accepted that. Then asked, did she mess up again? Yes. He nodded sadly. No surprise. That hurt more than the hotel bill. By noon, Melissa was calling nonstop. I ignored all 10 attempts. Then a text, they don't take cash deposit. Need card, please answer. Another, please, another, I'm scared. I almost replied. Then I remembered being scared too, scared every time the phone rang. Scared every emergency would become mine. Scared Tyler would learn love means cleanup. I set the phone down. That afternoon I called an old friend. Her name was Judith Kaplan. Retired family therapist. Sharp as vinegar and kinder than she liked people to know. We met for coffee. After listening 20 minutes, she said, You have confused rescuing with loving for decades. That feels harsh. It is efficient. She's my daughter. Yes. Which makes clarity overdue. I stirred my tea. What do I do? Protect the child. Require truth from the adult. Offer help only in forms that cannot be converted into indulgence. Meaning, no cash, no lies, no mystery. I smiled despite myself. You always did make mercy sound bureaucratic. She leaned in. And stop believing disaster means helplessness. Some disasters are strategy. That sentence landed heavily, because she was right. Melissa's crises always arrived near due dates, breakups, vacations, shopping sprees, or moments responsibility became unavoidable. Coincidence is often laziness wearing perfume. That evening, I invited Melissa to meet me at a diner. Neutral territory. She arrived 40 minutes late, puffy-eyed in borrowed sneakers. We sat in a booth beneath a flickering lamp. I need help, she said immediately. No, you need terms. She looked offended. I'm not a criminal. No, criminals plan better. She almost laughed, then remembered herself. I placed a notepad on the table. Here is what I will do. She crossed her arms. I'm listening. I will pay directly for one modest apartment application fee. Silence. I will buy groceries for Tyler weekly. More silence. I will pay for a financial counselor if you attend. Her face tightened. No, I thought you needed help. I need real help. This is real help. I need enough to reset. You mean erase evidence. That's unfair. No, I said. It's translated. She shoved the notepad back. I can't live in some tiny place. You cannot live in places your income rejects. I deserve better than this. There it was, the oldest poison. You deserve honesty, I said. The rest is negotiable. She stood up. Keep your humiliating offers. I intend to keep most of my money, yes. Heads turned from nearby booths. Good. Let witnesses diversify. She leaned over the table. When Tyler grows up, he'll see what you did. I held her gaze. I hope so. She left. The waitress approached carefully. Need a refill? Yes, I said, and perhaps a medal. She laughed. I did not. 3 days later, Tyler came home from school pale. What happened? I asked. He handed me an envelope, final notice. His tuition balance truly was overdue now. Melissa had stopped paying months ago, and this time it was real. I read the notice twice, then a third time, outstanding balance. Immediate action required. Risk of enrollment suspension pending payment arrangements. This time there was no invented urgency. Melissa had managed the rare feat of lying so often that truth now arrived wearing the same face. Tyler stood across from me with shoulders drawn inward. I'm sorry, he said automatically. No, I set the paper down. You do not apologize for invoices made by other people. He nodded, though habit fought understanding. Did you know it was this bad? She said she was handling it. Children raised in instability become experts in believing what they need. When did she last talk to the school? I don't know. Did they contact her? He shrugged. That shrug again. A whole autobiography inside 2 inches of movement. I called the academy immediately. By 5 o'clock, I was sitting in the bursar's office with Tyler beside me and a woman named Mrs. Camden across from us. Silver hair, efficient posture, glasses on a chain. The sort of administrator who could end nonsense with stationery. We've been trying to reach Ms. Bennett for months, she said. Calls, yes. Emails, yes. Letters, she opened a file. Multiple, I looked at Tyler. He stared at the carpet. She told me it was just paperwork, he whispered. Mrs. Camden's expression softened. Your grandson is an exceptional student. I already knew that. He belongs here, she continued. But policies are policies. How much? She named the number. Less than Melissa had asked me for. Far less. I closed my eyes briefly. The difference between tuition owed and money requested could have furnished a tropical beach very comfortably. Can partial payment preserve enrollment? Yes. With signed arrangements. I'll handle it, Tyler turned sharply. Nana, no, yes, it's too much. It is not too much to fund education, it is too much to fund deception. Mrs. Camden discreetly looked at her monitor. Good woman. I paid enough to secure his place and arranged the remainder over 60 days. When we left, Tyler was silent until the parking lot. You shouldn't have had to do that. You shouldn't have had to worry about it. He swallowed hard. I hate needing things. I unlocked the car. Needing things is human. Making others need chaos is the problem. He got in without replying. That night Melissa called at 9:17 p.m. I answered. You paid the school. Yes, how dare you go around me? I laughed before I could stop myself. A bold opening. You made me look irresponsible. You outsourced that to your actions. You had no right. Your son had a right to stability. She hissed into the phone. You're trying to replace me. No one can replace a mother, even a poor one. Silence. Then, you always thought I'd fail. No, I said quietly. I thought you'd grow tired of sabotaging yourself. She hung up. At 10:30, she sent 14 texts. I read none of them. The next morning, Judith came by with muffins and judgment. How bad? She asked. I told her. She listened while buttering toast with inappropriate calm. When was the last time your daughter faced a full consequence? She asked. She's faced many. No, Judith said. She's faced discomfort. You converted it into rescue. I hated when she was right. She's still my child. She's middle-aged. That sentence feels rude. It's diagnostic. Tyler entered then, hair damp from shower, tie crooked. Judith brightened instantly. There's the genius. He smiled shyly. She had known him since birth and had always spoken to him as if his future were already visible. After he left for school, she lowered her voice. You know what matters now. Tyler. Yes, not punishing Melissa, protecting Tyler. I nodded. That afternoon, I called a family attorney recommended by Marion, who handled guardianship and custody matters. His name was Stephen Lowe. Precise voice. No wasted vowels. After hearing the situation, he said, at 14, the child's preference matters significantly depending on circumstances. I'm not trying to steal anyone's son. You're describing instability. Financial neglect, emotional burden, and inconsistent housing. That is not theft, that is context. The word relieved me more than it should have. Context. By evening, Melissa arrived unannounced. Again, some habits survive humiliation. She rang the bell repeatedly until I opened the door. I need to talk to Tyler. He is doing homework. I'm his mother. You are also a disruption. She pushed past the threshold. I stepped in front of the hallway. No, she looked around wildly. Where is he? Busy. You can't keep him from me. I can keep shouting from him. Her face was thinner than a week ago. Makeup rushed, expensive coat missing, panic beginning to outdress vanity. I found an apartment, she said. That is good news. I need first month and deposit. Of course you do, please. There was less performance now, more raw need. How much? She told me, reasonable for once. I'll pay the landlord directly after lease review, I said. Relief flooded her face, then suspicion. Really? Yes, she stared. What's the catch? No cash, no lies. Financial counseling weekly, proof of employment search. Tyler stays here until utilities are active and the space is furnished. Her relief vanished. You're insane. No. Structured, you want control. I want evidence. You don't trust me. Correct. She paced once, furious. I can get money elsewhere. Then do so. She pointed toward the stairs. You've turned him against me. No, he turned toward calm. That one hit. She lunged emotionally rather than physically. You know what? Keep him. See how fun parenting is when he gets difficult. The sentence hung in the air like smoke. From the staircase came a voice. I heard that. Tyler stood halfway down, pale and shaking. Melissa froze. Baby, I didn't mean. Stop calling me baby when you're mad. She stared as if slapped. He came down one more step. You only want me when I make you look good. Tyler, you lied about school. I was fixing it. You lied about the trip. I was networking. You lied about Nana. I was upset. Each answer shrank while spoken. He looked at me, then back at her. I'm staying here for now. Melissa burst into tears. Everyone is abandoning me. Tyler's face hardened in a way no 14-year-old face should. No, he said quietly, we're just tired. She covered her mouth and stumbled backward toward the door. I almost reached for her, almost. Then she left. Tyler stood trembling. I opened my arms. He came to me like he had not since age 9. And while I held him, I understood something clearly. Some children are raised by their parents. Some are forced to survive them. After Melissa left, the house was quiet in the careful way homes become quiet after shouting. Tyler pulled away first, embarrassed by tears. Sorry, I touched his shoulder. If you apologize one more time for having feelings, I'll start charging you rent. He laughed despite himself. Good. Humor is often the first clean breath after pain. That weekend we bought a desk for the spare bedroom. Nothing fancy. Oak laminate, flat-packed, too many screws. The sort of furniture that requires patience and a forgiving back. Tyler assembled most of it himself. I like instructions, he said, because they tell the truth. He looked up, surprised. Yeah, I pretended to sort hardware so he would not see how much that sentence hurt me. Children from chaos often love systems. Numbers, code, engines, schedules. Anything that behaves when people do not. On Monday, Stephen Lowe came to the house. He reviewed school records, living arrangements, financial notices, and Tyler's statements. Calm man, crisp tie. Eyes that missed very little. Then he asked to speak with Tyler privately. They sat in the den for 40 minutes. When Stephen emerged, he said only, "He is thoughtful, articulate, and tired." That sounds accurate. It also sounds persuasive. What happens now? If your daughter contests, we prepare. If she collapses first, we negotiate. Melissa did both. 2 days later, she emailed me a 6-page letter, half accusation, half confession, all self-centered. You always judged me. Dad favored you over me. No one taught me money. I only wanted one chance. You poisoned Tyler. I know I made mistakes. You never supported my dreams. I need help. Please send $12,000 so I can reset. Even repentance ended with an invoice. I forwarded it to Stephen and Marion. Marion replied first, "Charming, save it." Stephen replied second, "Do not respond emotionally. Do not send money." Practical people are gifts. That Thursday, Melissa appeared at Tyler's soccer practice. I had not even known he liked soccer. Apparently, he had joined an after-school team months earlier and never mentioned it because home life left no room for hobbies. I was in the bleachers when I saw her walking across the field in heels unsuited to grass and motherhood. Tyler saw her too. His shoulders tensed visibly. She waved too brightly. "Baby," several parents looked over. Tyler did not wave back. Coach Ramirez, a barrel-chested man with kind eyes, stepped subtly closer to the boys. "Good man." Melissa climbed the bleachers toward me. "You didn't tell me he had practice. You did not ask. You're freezing me out." "No, you outsourced that." She sat beside me without permission. "I just want to support my son. Then start with consistency. It costs less than drama." She stared at the field. "I found an apartment. That is good. I need the deposit." "Still no. You'd rather spend money on lawyers." "I'd rather spend money on boundaries." Her jaw clenched. "Everyone thinks you're some saint now. I assure you, no one is thinking about me as much as you are." She lowered her voice. "If I lose Tyler, I'll have nothing." There it was again. "Not I'll lose him, I'll lose possession disguised as grief." "You lost trust," I said. "People are separate." She stood abruptly. "You love humiliating me." "No," I said. "I love naming things." She left before halftime. Tyler did not look toward the parking lot once. That night he asked, "If she gets better, do I have to go back?" Such a heavy sentence for someone who still needed help with algebra. "If she gets healthier, we discuss what's best." "No one is shipping you like luggage." He nodded, then quietly, "I don't want to manage her anymore." I set down my tea. There it was, the hidden labor. "What do you mean?" He spoke without looking at me. "Knowing when she's lying, hiding bills, saying the right thing when she's mad, making excuses to teachers. Pretending stuff is normal. Children should learn fractions, not emotional triage. You were never supposed to do that." "I know. Do you?" A pause. "No." I reached across the table and squeezed his hand. "You are allowed to be a child late." He cried then. So did I. The court mediation was scheduled for the following month. Before that could happen, Melissa found a new strategy: image repair. She began posting online about toxic parents, financial abuse, and grandmothers who weaponize wealth. No names, but enough details for local people to guess. Elaine called me outraged. She says you stole her son. I did not know children fit in handbags, Daniel called laughing. She says you trapped Tyler with organic groceries. At least my crimes are nutritious. But gossip matters because it stains time, so Marion handled it. Within 48 hours, Melissa received a formal notice demanding removal of defamatory implications and reminding her that discovery in family proceedings includes social media. The posts vanished by dinner. Consequences again. A week later, I received an envelope in my mailbox. No stamp. Inside was a bracelet I bought Melissa on her 21st birthday. Silver. Small sapphire charm. And a note. You can keep your money. I never wanted to be like you anyway. I sat at the kitchen table holding that bracelet for a long time. It was not true, of course. She had wanted many things like me. Security, admiration, a home people envied. She simply wanted them without becoming the person who built them. That evening Tyler saw the bracelet. She gave that back? Yes. He looked sad rather than angry. She does stuff like that when she wants to hurt first. Insight earned too young. Mediation day arrived wet and gray. Melissa entered with a new lawyer and a beige suit chosen to suggest innocence. She looked healthier than the hotel night, though desperation still sat behind the eyes. The mediator, Judge Karen Ellis, retired, wasted no time. Ms. Bennett, she said, do you presently have stable housing? Melissa hesitated. I'm between places. Income, I'm consulting. Meaning, various projects. Judge Ellis wrote something. Then she turned to Tyler. He was allowed to speak privately with counsel present. When he returned, his face was pale but steady. Melissa reached toward him. He stepped aside. Tiny movement. Huge history. Hours later, offers moved across tables. Shared schedule. Therapy requirements. Financial accountability. Temporary residence with me. Melissa resisted everything until Judge Ellis asked one question. Can you presently provide a stable bedroom, paid utilities, regular meals, and school transportation? Melissa began to cry. No, the room softened for 1 second. Then Judge Ellis said gently, then love is not the current issue, capacity is. By sunset, a temporary agreement was signed. Tyler would remain with me for 6 months. Melissa would receive structured visitation, counseling requirements, and financial planning obligations. As we left, Melissa stood in the corridor alone. She looked at me and whispered, you won, I answered truthfully. No one won. Then I took Tyler home. Life became calmer in increments, no orchestra, no sunrise montage. Just smaller tensions disappearing one by one. No midnight calls, no urgent transfers, no invented disasters tied to weekends. No Tyler checking his phone every 7 minutes to predict someone else's mood. He gained weight first, then color, then laughter. The body often heals before the heart trusts it. He kept the spare room spotless, lined notebooks by size, and taped a study schedule above the desk we built together. On Sundays, he cooked eggs badly and insisted on trying again each week until they became edible. Progress, I told him. Grease, he corrected. At school, grades improved further. Coach Ramirez said he was faster on the field now that something heavy got off his shoulders. Children carry invisible furniture. Melissa attended her first 2 scheduled visits late. Classic beginning. Then she surprised everyone by arriving early for the 3rd. No makeup, no performance coat, no perfume that announced debt, just jeans, tied hair, nervous hands. We met at a cafe chosen by the mediator. Tyler sat across from her stirring hot chocolate. I took a table 20 feet away and read a book without turning many pages. They spoke awkwardly at first. Weather, school, soccer, then silence, then real conversation. I could tell because neither was trying to look good anymore. When it ended, Tyler came to me in the parking lot. She asked what classes I like. That seems normal. It felt weird. Normal often does after chaos. Melissa approached slowly. Thank you for bringing him. I brought myself too. She almost smiled. Good. Humility wears the face better than bitterness. The counseling reports began arriving monthly through Stephen. Attendance consistent. Financial coaching, participating. Employment, part-time office manager for a dental practice. Housing, rented one-bedroom apartment, no luxury lobby, no concierge. No scented lies, a beginning, then came the relapse. Growth is rude that way. 3 months into progress, Tyler came home quiet, too quiet. What happened? He handed me a shopping bag. Inside was a designer sneaker box worth more than my monthly grocery bill. She bought them for me, he said. Do you like them? That's not the problem. Smart boy. What is the problem? She said if I move back soon, she'll redo my room and maybe get me a gaming setup. There it was, bribery, familiar language spoken fluently. I called Stephen. He sighed the sigh of a man who invoices setbacks. Document it. Address calmly. Do not explode. I met Melissa the next day. We sat on a park bench while children played honestly nearby. You cannot purchase reconciliation. I was trying to do something nice. You were trying to speed up trust. He's my son. Yes, not a campaign. She stared ahead. I don't know how to do this without grand gestures. Try consistency, so small it bores you. She laughed despite herself. That sounds awful. It sounds stable. I handed back the unopened shoe box. Return these. She took it slowly. I hate that you're right so often lately. I've always been right often. You're just listening now. That landed better than expected. Winter passed. Tyler spent alternate Saturdays with her, then full weekends, then occasional dinners midweek. Her apartment remained modest but clean. The fridge contained groceries instead of sparkling water and wishful thinking. One evening I picked Tyler up and noticed a handwritten budget on her refrigerator. Rent, utilities, savings, groceries, debt payment. I nearly applauded. Melissa saw me reading it. Don't make a thing of it. I'm considering fainting. She rolled her eyes, progress again. Then one afternoon Daniel called. You need to know something. With our family, that sentence never comforts. Dad left Melissa money years ago. I sat down. What? Separate account, small trust. I only found out because I'm helping Uncle Martin sort old files. Arthur's brother had handled some estate matters after the funeral. How much? He named a respectable sum. Enough to stabilize a careful person, enough to destroy an impulsive one. When did she receive it? 2 years ago. I closed my eyes. All those emergencies, all those tears, all those requests. She spent it. Looks like luxury travel, cards, and paying off one boyfriend's business debt. I thanked him and ended the call. Betrayal should lose its ability to surprise eventually. It does not. That evening Melissa came for dinner to discuss Tyler's spring schedule. I served roast chicken and facts. Did you receive trust money from your father 2 years ago? Her fork stopped halfway. Tyler looked between us. What money? He asked. Melissa swallowed. Can we not do this now? We can do it truthfully now or painfully later. She set the fork down. Yes. How much? She told us. Tyler stared. You said Nana was the only one with money. Melissa whispered. I know. What happened to it? She looked at her plate. I wasted it. The room held stillness like glass. Tyler stood. I'm going upstairs. Tyler, no, he left. Melissa began crying softly. I wanted one season of not worrying. I spoke quietly. You bought relief on credit and build your future. She nodded. I know. No, I said. You are beginning to know. She covered her face. I should have told him. Yes, I was ashamed. Good, shame is useful when it leads somewhere. She gave a broken laugh through tears. You really know how to comfort people. I know how to stop lying from breeding. She wiped her eyes. Can I talk to him? Tonight, no. She accepted that, also progress. When she left, I found Tyler in the spare room pretending to study. She had money, yes, and still did all that, yes. He looked so tired suddenly. Will I become like her? The question split me cleanly. No. How do you know? Because people who fear becoming selfish are already facing the right direction. He cried quietly. I sat beside him until words were unnecessary. By spring, the 6-month review hearing arrived. Judge Ellis reviewed reports, school performance, counseling notes, housing stability, and Tyler's wishes. Then she asked him directly, Where do you feel safest? He answered without hesitation. With Nana, Melissa flinched. Judge Ellis continued, Where do you want to spend time? with both but different amounts, wise child. After deliberation, the order changed. Primary residence with me for the next school year. Expanded weekend and holiday time with Melissa contingent on continued compliance. Melissa looked devastated. Outside the courthouse, she said to me, "You always get chosen." I answered carefully, "No, reliability does." She cried in the parking lot while Tyler waited in the car. For the first time, I did not go to her. Sometimes mercy is stepping back so reality can speak alone. The year Tyler lived with me changed all three of us. For him, life became measurable again. Homework due on Tuesday meant homework due on Tuesday, not forgotten because the electric had been cut, or because his mother was crying over a man with a startup and no furniture. Dinner happened at 6:30. Laundry happened on Sundays. Bills were paid before flowers were purchased. Promises meant calendars, not moods. Children bloom strangely fast in ordinary soil. He grew 2 inches that year, made honor roll, started varsity soccer as a sophomore, learned to cook 3 meals properly and won with dangerous confidence. For me, motherhood became grander and smaller at once. I was no longer trying to save my daughter from herself. I was helping her son become himself. For Melissa, change came slower. She kept the dental office job, paid down debt in visible chunks, arrived on time more often than not, stopped wearing labels she could not afford. Started asking questions before making announcements. These are not glamorous achievements. They are the real ones. Still, trust rebuilt like old masonry, stone by stone. Then one June evening, nearly a year after the first tuition notice, Tyler asked if we could all have dinner together. All three of us, he clarified. Melissa and I exchanged the same expression across the kitchen. Alarm, but it was his request, so we agreed. We met at a family Italian restaurant where no one could perform dramatically because the bread arrived too often. Tyler had prepared topics on his phone. I discovered this when he announced, "No fighting, I made an agenda." I laughed so hard I nearly forgave adolescence in advance. Melissa smiled nervously. "What's first?" "Summer plans," he said. We discussed camps, soccer clinics, college savings, and whether he was old enough to take the train alone. Then he looked at us both. "Second topic, I'm tired of being the bridge." Silence. Children become clear when finally safe enough. "I love you both," he continued, "but I don't want to manage your feelings anymore." Melissa's eyes filled instantly. I touched his hand. "You should never have had to," he nodded. "So if you're mad at each other, be mad yourselves." "Wise boy," Melissa whispered. "I'm sorry." He looked at her. "I know. But I need different, not speeches." That sentence should be taught nationally. After dinner, we walked outside into warm evening light. Melissa lingered by my car. "I don't know how he got so smart. He was raised by consequences." She almost laughed, then grew serious. "I know I blamed you for years. Yes, I thought you judged me because you didn't understand pressure. And now I think you understood it and chose discipline anyway." That was the nearest she had ever come to honoring my life. "Thank you," I said. She cried a little, embarrassed by it. Good, honest tears are cleansing. That autumn Tyler began visiting colleges. He wanted engineering, then economics, then sports analytics. At 16, ambition changes weekly. Melissa drove him to one campus 3 hours away and packed sandwiches to save money. I nearly fainted when Tyler told me. "She wrapped them in foil," he said. "Are you certain it was your mother?" He laughed. "She's weird now." "No," I said. "She's maturing." By his senior year, Tyler split time naturally between our homes. My house remained base camp. Her apartment became home too, in a newer and healthier way. Smaller than she once demanded, more honest than she had ever owned. One Sunday she came over carrying a folder. "I need advice." I looked around theatrically. "Is there another mother here?" She rolled her eyes. Inside were retirement forms, debt payoff plans, and savings allocations. "You're asking me for budgeting help?" "Yes." "Voluntarily?" "Yes." I pressed a hand to my chest. "Tyler, call a doctor." She laughed for real. Then we spent 3 hours reviewing numbers. No lies, no hidden balances. No invented emergencies, just arithmetic. It was one of the most intimate afternoons we had ever shared. Years later, when Tyler graduated college with honors, both of us sat in the front row. Melissa cried before the ceremony began. I cried during. Tyler cried only when he thought no one noticed. Afterward, he hugged us both at once. Couldn't have done it without you. I answered. You did it because of you. Melissa answered. Still counts. We took photos in sunlight. No one looked away. When I turned 78, Tyler bought me a framed picture of our old kitchen table. At first, I thought it was an odd gift. Then I noticed what was happening in the photo. Me paying bills. Him doing homework. Melissa chopping vegetables badly while reading a recipe. Ordinary life. The thing we nearly lost while chasing appearances. On the back he had written, "This is what winning looked like." I kept that frame beside Arthur's clock. When I died years later, peacefully and appropriately opinionated, my estate was simple. No drama, no secret punishments, no theatrical $1 lesson. I had changed my plans long before. Tyler inherited the house and a substantial portion of my savings. Melissa received enough to be comfortable, not careless. But with her envelope, I left a letter. My daughter, you once thought money could rescue people from character. Then you learned character is what money reveals. I did not leave you less because I loved you less. I left you enough because you finally learned enough. Your true inheritance was never in my accounts. It was the year you became honest. Love, Mom Tyler told me later she read it 3 times before speaking. Then she laughed and cried together. Apparently that runs in the family. He kept the house. She kept her habits of budgeting. And every Sunday, they still ate dinner at 6:30. Some families are not healed by forgetting. They are healed by finally telling the truth, then repeating better choices until trust grows where chaos used to live.